It has now been 7 years since 2016, although it feels like it literally never ends. I guess 6 or something years since the actual November election, 2016. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. The Washington Post now out with a report put out yesterday saying, quote, Russian trolls on Twitter had little influence on the 2016 election, on 2016 voters specifically, and yet in February of 2018, what exactly did they publish? Timeline, quote, how Russian trolls allegedly tried to throw the 2016 election to Trump. And the actual story itself is a masterpiece in just the delay of how long it took. It says, quote, a study finds minimal impact from Russian influence operations on Twitter in the Trump-Clinton presidential election. The study, which the New York University Center for Social Media and Politics helmed, explores the limits of Russian disinformation and misinformation. My personal sense coming out of this is that it got way overhyped, one of the report's authors says, about the meaningfulness of Russian tweets. We're looking back on the data. We now see how concentrated this was in one small portion of the population, and how the fact that people who were being exposed were really already very likely to vote for Trump anyways. And then we have this data to show that we can't find any relationship between being exposed to these tweets and people's change in attitudes. Now, I did not need a study to say that a weird meme of a bear with Trump's face on it was going to influence the election.
Broken English or whatever.
Yeah, with like, I love Donald J. Trump with the bear, like what? Or these, I remember looking back, and I encourage all of you to go and look through some of the old memes, like, or even some of the trolls are broken English, they were terrible. They were really, I mean, they were not influential really in any way. And I also remember at the time, the way that they would talk about this, they'd be like, 7 billion people scrolled past a Russian meme. You're like, oh my God, 7. But it's like, okay, how much bullshit do you scroll past literally every single day? Like,
yeah.
How much of it has an actual impact, not only on you on that day, on when you're gonna vote? In 2016, it was a ludicrous story that was pushed at the beginning, of which a lot of people really believed. I've always thought, Krystal, that the cope with the whole Russian troll influential thing is that a lot of elite liberals just cannot fathom that any person would vote for Trump, like in a normal way. They're like, no, it's not possible. They had to be fooled. They had to be tricked.
Remember, they also used it to discredit Bernie.
Yes,
say that,
of course,
same thing. Like his supporters were all influenced by these like Russian Bernie bro memes or whatever. So here's some of the findings of the report. 1% of Twitter users accounted for 70% of the exposure to accounts that Twitter identified as Russian troll accounts. Highly partisan Republicans were exposed to 9 times more posts than non-Republicans. So again, these were people who were already Trump fans and going to vote for Donald Trump. Content from the news media and US politicians dwarfed the amount of Russian influence content the electorate was exposed to during the 2016 race. There was no measurable impact on political attitudes, polarization, and vote preferences and behavior from the Russian accounts and posts. Again, anyone who was really thinking this through at the time could realize you have these campaigns that are spending billions of dollars.
Oh yeah, if you put super PAC money in there, it's like tens of billions.
To try to influence and persuade people. You really think some like half-assed bad Russian memes? That was the thing. Like they're just so, and this got, this played into the whole like Putin, the puppet master and the mastermind, and he's just so brilliant, he's like manipulating us like puppets or whatever. And it turns out none of this mattered at all. And it's just too perfect that it comes so many years later when they finally are like, by the way, that whole thing we sold you for years and years and years and told you that was like explained all of our politics, turns out
actually,
that was totally fake.
I had a Russian professor in graduate school at kind of the beginning, like when some of this was going down. And I won't say too much about him because he was an interesting guy. But something that he said was, you do not imagine how much power that you people have given Putin by being able to portray himself to enemies of the West as the great puppet master to elect the president of the United States, when in reality, he had nothing to do with it. They were like, that is the greatest victory that you could ever give a former KGB operative. It is one of those things that bolsters actually his image as a strong man and a tough guy in Russia and gives him way too much credit than he actually deserved.
Well, and that's the irony, is it wasn't the posts themselves that influenced our politics. It was the hysterical Russian derangement that then infected all of our politics Now that has definitely manipulated public opinion and changed the way people view world affairs. I mean, just look through, the Hunter Biden, it has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. That reverberated throughout our politics and elite figures and media and has had a massive impact. But the actual posts and memes themselves, nothing.
No,
nothing.
absolutely not.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.